I absolutely support the local plan. Affordable housing is essential if we're looking at any kind of economic development and growth within the borough.
I absolutely believe in the local plan. It's taken a long time to actually get to this point. A lot of people work very hard on it.
Guildford at the moment, is really struggling in terms of finding the accommodation for anyone who is not on very high salaries, and I do mean high salaries. Introducing more affordable homes has to improve that.
Guildford doesn't have enough houses. Guildford hasn't had enough houses for a long time. We've not been building enough of them.
If you look at the situation in Guildford, the average house price is over £400,000. It's beyond the means of most of our employees. Many of them travel many miles at the moment to come here, and that causes them issues and us issues as well.
For me to have gotten to the property letter would have meant that I'd have to leave. I'd have to move elsewhere. But this is my home. I've lived here now for most of my life, and I don't want to move, so I'm forced to rent from a friend in a spare room. I find it really frustrating that sometimes we have really talented staff, really talented students that we train, and people that work here who are forced to live and work elsewhere because they can't afford to buy housing locally, they can't afford to live locally.
If you look at where a lot of our key worker staff, like nursing and healthcare assistants, live, what they're telling us is it's easier to go and work in other hospitals like Frimley, even Basingstoke, and even Portsmouth and Southampton.
We are already seeing problems recruiting right here and right now because of the challenges of affordable housing within this borough. It's only going to get worse if we don't plan for the future.
We've probably got 1,000 less students this year than we could have had. We need to make sure that we're able to attract world-class academics coming from wherever in the world and that they're able to afford housing here. It's those young academics, those young people that need to be able to find houses in Guildford. And we need the best brains, the best people here.
I think that the lack of affordable housing will put, or has been putting graduates off from staying in Guildford after they've qualified because they just have nowhere to live. Guildford has become my home in the 5 years that I've been here, and I would love to continue to stay here, continue contributing to the community, continue contributing to the university, but I won't be able to do that because there is no accommodation that I can afford to stay in. There are very, very few graduates that will secure a high-paying enough job to be able to stay in Guildford. So all that talent just goes back to another part of the country, to develop another part of the country.
Whilst we looked at brownfield first, and whilst we look at the urban and the semi-urban areas, to achieve our objectively assessed needs, we do have to look at development on a modest scale in Greenfield and Greenbelt. I'm pleased to say that with this plan, we are only looking at 1.6% of the green belt being developed over what is a very long plan period. So we are protecting the green belt.
We also need to focus on the A3 and some of the other trunk roads, and this plan does.
The infrastructure in Guildford has not been able to keep up with the demand for Guildford. Not just housing, we're looking at the A3, we're looking at loads of different parts of Guildford. With more affordable housing means more people can stay in Guildford, but with more people staying in Guildford, traffic in Guildford is going to get worse unless the infrastructure is fixed. I'm not an expert on doing that, but something needs to be done.
We have taken a lot more time and effort in looking at infrastructure and looking at transport in particular.
And the one that we really can't wait for is for the development of Guildford West Station, which is immediately behind our cancer centre. Those nurses and staff that live on that Aldershot Frimley access actually will use the railway to come to work.
It's very important that at the end of the plan period, we have an improved Guildford. By improved, I mean that those that live here at the moment will have better opportunities, and also protecting the borough. To be prosperous, you have to grow, and so the local plan does provide for moderate, sustainable growth.
We know that Guildford is a wonderful place to do business. It's a fantastic, a thriving economy, and we want to make sure that we continue and really plan for success, and we believe that that local plan can do that.
It takes a look at the things that are really important, the schools, it takes a look at the surgeries, it thinks about and it focuses on all those things that make society a better place.